Hi, thanks for stopping by to find out a bit about the Journal of Flood Risk Management. I'm Sarah Anderton and I'm currently providing maternity cover for our lovely publications manager Vicky Harris, who's back in September. For background, the Journal of Flood Risk Management was set up in 2008 and has since become an internationally recognised journal with an impact factor of over 3. In this video, our Editor-in-Chief, Paul Samuels, is going to be giving a couple of presentations. Without further ado, let me hand you on to Paul.
Hello everyone. I want to talk to you today about publishing your paper in the Journal of Flood Risk Management. And I'm Paul Samuels. I'm the Editor-in-Chief of the journal and I am also working at HR Wallingford. I thought it might be helpful to give you a personal note as to why I can talk about this topic. Well, I've had over 100 journal conference contributions in my career, which goes back into the 1970s. I've been a peer reviewer for several journals and since 1985. I am on the science committee of the Journal of River Basin Management and have been associate editor for the Journal of Flood Risk Management for the first 6 years, from 2007 to 2013. And I've been editor-in-chief since 2014. The outline of what I want to talk about today is here. First of all, a few points on why you should publish, what you should publish, why you should choose the Journal of Flood Risk Management, and then some comments on the peer review process and copyright issues, and finally a few closing remarks. So, on to why publish. Well, I see firstly publication is probably good for your organisation. It'll add to your track record and your profile with your clients, whether those are commercial clients or research clients. It enhances your credibility for accessing research funds. And a new paper is an opportunity for publicity for your organisation. Secondly, it's good for you. It strengthens your CV, especially for research bids, and it enhances your own career profile. Publication is a recognised form of continuing professional development, which if you're a member of SciWEM or any other professional body, you'll be committed to do a certain amount of professional development each year. And finally, you may have a contract, and this is, I'm thinking here, particularly a research contract, which requires publication as part of the contract conditions. So that's why you should publish. Then, what should you publish? I think the most important thing is that you've got to have something interesting and new to say. These could come as results of a research contract. They could be a novel application you've done or a novel case study where something new has come out. And for students, I'm thinking here of research students, it could be a chapter of your PhD thesis. One measure of a PhD thesis is often that there should be 3 or 4 research papers can come out of what is done in the PhD. Another reason why you might publish is that you were asked to write a paper, whether it's a paper on a specific topic or you were asked to prepare a review of a certain area. Now you have a couple of key decisions to make. Firstly, are you going to be a single author? Is it going to be your work only? Or should you have a collaboration with one or more colleagues? And then, have you chosen the right journal? So why should you choose the Journal of Flood Risk Management? Well, you should look at the aims and scope and the audience of the journal as to be published on the website. We cover all aspects of flood risk management, and this is set out on our online author's guide. You may wish to consider the reputation of the journal when you are seeking as to which journal you should publish in. The Journal of Flood Risk Management has a good impact factor for the 2-year and 5-year impact analysis, And also we have a social media presence which will help to get papers publicised. We are an open access publication. Now that means the author pays for an article publication charge, but reading is free. Now there is an arrangement between Wiley and many research funders for the publication charge to be covered rather than it to come out of your organisation's own budget. And finally, that in Journal of Flood Risk Management, there's a lot of author assistance is available from Wiley through their website. Now, when you've submitted your paper, it's going to be reviewed. The review process we operate at the Journal of Flood Risk Management is called single blind. That is, the reviewers are anonymous. You won't know who has reviewed your paper, but your name as an author is known to the reviewer. The first decision you get can be any one of the following four things. It could be accept it as it is. Now that is probably very unlikely because most papers require some sort of revision. And these are minor revision or major revision. A minor revision is further clarification of small points may be required, some corrections to language, but major revision almost certainly would involve you in doing more work. And finally, there is reject. And reject is because the paper is not suitable for the journal, so you've misjudged what we're looking for, or the quality may not be up to what we need. There is a possibility that as editor-in-chief, I will give you an invitation to rewrite and resubmit your paper. We think the topic is okay, but significant work is still required. And that's a personal, comes as a personal recommendation from me. Now, acceptance criteria for your paper to be published. Firstly, it should be in the scope of the journal and it should be topical. You've got to make a distinctive contribution to flood risk management knowledge or understanding or flood risk management practice. There should be no plagiarism. That is, representing your own work, which you've had published elsewhere, or even more seriously, claiming work which others have done is yours. So there should be no plagiarism. Next, we will look for sound methodology and science. And that's a key part of the reviewer's task, is to check on the methodology and science which you're using. We look for papers which are well written and illustrated. So your abstract has to provide a succinct summary of the key results and the innovation in your paper. You need to describe the state of art reasonably well in your introduction. Your conclusions should be substantiated by the main content of the paper. And finally, you need to give up-to-date references. Once you have the reviews in and a request for major or minor modifications, you should respond to these by reading the reviews and the editor's guidance carefully. And I would say editors because there'll be guidance from the editor-in-chief and guidance from the associate editor who commissions the reviews. When you're preparing your response, you should be respectful of what has been given to you as the reviewers and editors' opinions. And you need to take particular care if you disagree with any of the recommended revisions. You shouldn't ignore any comments which have been given, and you need to provide a commentary on the changes which you make in light of the comments. If you think that a point raised by the reviewer or editor doesn't require a change, then you must give a clear justification of why that is so. And that should be in your response to the reviews document, which you're going to submit alongside your revised paper. You should include in your paper the essence of your response to reviewers' comments. It is usually not sufficient just to make a private response to the reviewer. That's because if the reviewer had a query on a certain point, then so may any other reader. So you should make a change to the paper to add a short explanation of the response which you're making to the reviewer. Now, if the changes require a significant increase in the length of the paper, and that's probably more the case for a major revision, then you should make a case to the editor for this increase in the words. Now, in terms of copyright, you need to get permission from and form of acknowledgement for any of the illustrations you use which have been published elsewhere. You need to go to the copyright holder. It's the journal or organisation who has the rights to that particular figure. Now, the copyright terms for publication depend upon the publisher and the publication model. Now, the Journal of Flood Risk Management now is open access, which means to say that you're given a Creative Commons license where you, as author, retain rights to your publication. And open access papers are free for you to share. You should refer also to the contract conditions for funded work to see if your research contract funder actually wishes to retain the copyright in any material which you produce from that project. And you need to take care, if you're posting your paper to ResearchGate or academia as research repositories. Normally, for the Journal of Flood Risk Management, you can post a link to the paper rather than the paper itself. And finally, a few closing remarks. You can consider involving experienced colleagues to help you with your paper, particularly if you have never written one before. You should consult the publisher's online guidance, as is available from the Wiley Author Services, and I've given a link there to where you would find it. You should publicise your paper using social media tools, and the journal can assist you in this. You can share links with colleagues and contacts, so you alert people who you know ought to be you'd like to read your work, that your paper is there. And finally, I'd say update your CV and your CPD record with the paper when you've published it. I hope you found these few points on publishing your paper in the Journal of Flood Risk Management helpful, and I look forward to receiving your article soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Paul. I hope you found Paul's presentations useful and enjoyed learning about the Journal of Flood Risk Management. If you've got questions on the journal more widely, please email them to journals@ciwem.org.